Hello. How is everybody today? Hope everybody can see me okay, hear me okay. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear and see. Let me know. Hi. All right, let me get my situation going over here. All right, let me fix it. Yay! How is everybody today? I am looking forward to seeing all these people go down for one. All right, let me just fix this little chat box. All right. Yay! Hello everybody. Yes, I'm so glad finally Donna is going to get what she's been really deserving for the past 11 years. It's honestly a shame that, you know, everybody's had to wait this long, and we're still waiting on Wendy, but I have faith that Wendy's going to be next. All right, so hi Rob, hi Nanya, hi One Man's Trash, hi Harry E, hi Randy, hi Warflare, and hi Amy and Devo, you have been here. Hi everybody. Hi, I'm not perfect. All right. Okay, so I hope I've got everything set up properly. Yes, the boys are old. Okay, so I hope I've got everything set up properly. Yes, the boys are old enough. And I don't know really what they've been going through. Obviously, this has got to be horrific for them because absolutely everything that they have thought that they've known has been completely ripped out from under them. I think that's horrendous. Just before we get started, they're downstairs. Hopefully they will be good. Not real gerbils, my kids. And there is a singular fruit fly in this room. So if you see it fly by the camera, just ignore it. And my little gerbils are downstairs. Hopefully they will be good. Not real gerbils, my kids. And hopefully they'll stay quiet, but who knows? I might need to open the door for them. Okay, so Jared's asking if we think that Charlie will testify. I don't know. I mean, he's got an appeal going on right now, so I think that's kind of up in the air. Oh no. Okay, hold on. All right, 1 second. Let me see if I can fix that. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. Okay, 1 sec, guys. All right, I'll keep talking. You let me know if it goes away.
Okay, so, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, great. All right, good, because I didn't really know what I was doing there, but I fixed it somehow.
So,
All
yeah,
right.
I'm thinking that this motion
Okay, so,
address Wendy's motion.
yeah, I agree. The boys have probably not heard anything good. Okay, great. All is good. Um, so, yeah, I'm thinking that this motion today is probably going to address Wendy's motion to quash. Oh no! All right, hold on. Let me see what I can do.
Tell me when we get
All right, hold on, guys.
good when everything is synced up.
Okay. All right, you tell me when we get
Right. How is that in terms of syncing?
good when everything is synced up. There's that stupid fruit fly. I just saw it in my monitor.
For anything that defense asks her. So basically, her motion is, and she filed
All
the
right.
same motion.
How is that in terms of syncing? Let me know. Well, she just wants to plead the fifth for anything that the defense asks her. So basically, her motion is, and she filed the same motion with, let me go ahead and switch over.
So basically, okay, good. Yeah. So basically, she gets.
Okay, so she filed the same motion when Catherine McManawa's
Immunity. Oh yeah.
trial before this started, and I actually have a little snippet of that I plan on playing. So basically, okay, good, yay. So basically, she gets her, stupid immunity. Oh yeah, they're trying to pull anything. It's really pathetic. She gets her use and derivative use immunity from the state with the state subpoena. When the defense subpoenas her as one of their witness, she doesn't get that immunity. So she is basically trying her very hardest not to be, pushed into anything where she, doesn't have protection. And she basically said she would plead the fifth if she was basically subpoenaed by the defense. She said the exact same thing Catherine McManawa's trial. This is the motion that I have up right now. It's pretty much identical to the motion that was just filed, with the exception that she says she is a daughter of defendant Donna Adelson. And then they even mark in here that, Catherine McManawa was charged and convicted, but says nothing about Charlie. Like, let's just ignore that happened. But yeah, it says the state of subpoena affords Wendy Adelson use derivative use immunity for her testimony in an instance where she would otherwise invoke her Fifth Amendment rights, which, oh no. Okay, hold on. Let me fix the audio again. All right. Okay, hold on, guys. Okay. All right, it should be only going on the one. I don't know why it would be doing this to me. Why are you doing this to me? Okay, hold on. All right. agree. I can't wait to see Wendy in her little purple scrubs. Okay. All right, did that fix it or not? Okay, maybe I fixed it because I think it was still on my camera as well. So I think I've got it just through my microphone. Just let me know if it starts messing up again. You'll have to be a little bit patient with me since, we really don't know what we're doing here. So, yeah, she wants to invoke her Fifth Amendment rights. We'll go ahead and play a little bit this is actually from my first video in the 7-part Wendy series that shows what an absolute mess she is. But yeah, he goes up and literally right before the trial starts, she needs to have a quick talk about this.
Yeah. All right, the first thing that I want to address is in regards to Wendy Adelson.
Can you guys hear the monitor okay? Is the video volume coming through all right for everybody? Just give a thumbs up if it is. If she learned nothing from her mom, she learned to buy a two-way ticket. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this. Let me know if there's any problems with the audio.
And a non-party motion that I received. And so is Mr. Laura present? Yes, Your Honor. Okay, Mr. Laura, good morning. Let's see, we don't have the podium in a good place at this point, but you could just step right up to the podium. Good morning.
Yes, Your Honor. John Lauro, and with me is Miss Adelson. Your Honor, as you know, Miss Adelson has been subpoenaed by the state as well as the defense. She, without a state subpoena, would unequivocally invoke her Fifth Amendment rights. We want to make that clear for the record. In light of Your Honor's prior rulings and direction, we wanted to put that on the record. However, with respect to the state subpoena, it automatically confers use and derivative use immunity on her pursuant to Florida Statute 914.04. That use and derivative use immunity would only apply to a state subpoena and not to a defense subpoena. So in light of that, we would ask respectfully that the court quash the defendant's subpoena, since there's no purpose and no appropriate purpose in calling a witness simply to invoke in front of the jury.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Laura. Any questions that are given to...
This is from Catherine McBanawa's trial. So this is her lawyer, who is, I guess, still her lawyer. And this is from Catherine McBanawa's trial right before that started.
Ms. Adelson, if she was called with the defense case, is she going to assert her Fifth Amendment rights to any question that's asked at that time?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm assuming any question would have to be relevant and germane to the matters in this case. And as a result, she would invoke as to those questions.
All right. And so I'm just going to assert my previous ruling that I've made, and I did restate it on the record yesterday, is that she'll be required to testify under the state subpoena. The cross-examination will be limited to whatever the state's brings forth on direct. So that's what the cross-examination scope will be limited to. There's no piggybacking or bringing in any other information just because she's under the state subpoena. That's not going to be permissible. And then she's not going to be permitted to be called as a witness. Now that we know that she's just going to assert her Fifth Amendment rights, she won't be called as a witness in the defense case at this time.
Yes, Your Honor. That's
okay.
Exactly our understanding of the law.
All right. Okay. Anything else for the court?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm going to ask that Ms. Adelson then please remain outside the courtroom because she's subject to the rule.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
And Your Honor.
My things, please. Your murder bag, m'lady. Come now, let's away. Peasants. Okay. Let's unpack this, shall we? But first, is just no one gonna mention that Wendy is a robot? Anyone? No one? Okay then. It'll be our little secret. So our little Wendy refused to test.
Yeah. So whatever. I get it. Some people are going to say, well, you don't, need to be guilty to, invoke the Fifth Amendment. Thank you very much. How's my volume now, by the way? I hope it's better. And I am sorry, but this whole thing that they're claiming is they're not guilty. Nobody's guilty. None of the family members have done this. So why in the world would she not want to get up there and testify on her mother's behalf and say, hey, we're not even, none of us did this, we're not guilty. What is going on? The volume. Okay, hold on, guys. How's that for the volume? Is that better? Is that better, guys? Too low? Is that better? All right, come on. I'm boosting it up on this, so. Seriously. Okay. All right, good. Okay, perfect. I hope it doesn't bother anybody that this stupid microphone lights up. I had no idea. Why you wouldn't want to go up and literally do anything you could to get your mother, who's not guilty, off of this trial and do anything. Because what's going to happen is Rob is going to come up. He is going to literally destroy her, more than likely. He's going to tell everything about who she is as a person, whatever's going on. And then they're not going to have another kid to defend her. That is just mind-blowing to me. That's just mind-blowing to me. I can't even with it. All right. So let's go ahead and, oh yeah, they're brilliant. All right. They've got everything figured out, don't they? Okay, so yeah, I don't live that far away from Rob Adelson, and I really have been begging myself to get a sinus infection so I can go to him. And then when he's checking it out, I can be like, so, what's going on? Because I don't know if you, and I think I have it, and I don't remember which video, but he basically did an interview and alluded to the fact that he knew that they were guilty. I'll have to find it. All right, so speaking of guilty, I want to play this short, and this is from my video where I think that Charlie's going to end up rolling on Wendy, and I think it's less of, everybody's like, well, if he's offered a deal, first of all, I don't think he's going to be offered a deal. I think that they've got him. I mean, he's already been convicted. He's not going to get a deal. But I just think he has got to be stewing. Yeah, it was the Over My Dead Body podcast. Yep. And I featured it in one of my, I think it might have been even in the Charlie one. But I just don't see him sitting in jail and not getting more and more irritated about Wendy out there living her best life while he is literally getting, rode hard and put away wet by probably a lot of the people in the jail, just saying. All right. Hi, Watercolor. Hi, everybody. Yep. It's Over My Dead Body. It was a great, great podcast. And yes, don't expect their sympathy. It's been every man for themselves pretty much since everything started going down, so I'm not really surprised. Okay, so in this little clip, this is actually, I don't remember if this is from one or two different jail phone calls between Donna and Charlie, but Donna pretty much admits that Wendy is guilty in this. So let's go ahead and play this.
Like, she either had knowledge, and that's why she went to the house, or she had no knowledge and was going to the same liquor store she always went to. Then the other thing that's unshakable is, like Appleman said, she just couldn't help herself. She had to drive to the scene of the crime, have her way on the liquor store. The 3 liquor stores closer, and shows up an hour after everything was done.
Okay, I just have to stop it right there because I don't know if everybody heard what he's saying, but he literally just said she shows up an hour after everything's done. Not an hour after he's killed, an hour after everything's done. Which to me, if you're saying after everything's done, that's because you have done something. Like, there's just no way that you're going to use that type of verbiage if you are not involved in the doing of this murder. That is just like the most off thing about this whole, I mean, aside from Donna, but that really like stuck out to me. All right, I'm going to replay that again real quick and then I'll play the rest.
Store, the 3 liquor stores closer, and shows up an hour after everything was done because she just couldn't help herself. Well, if it's true, and Wendy showed up because she knew something was going to happen, then I'm guilty. Without a doubt. If you want to say it's a coincidence, then you can excuse that with the word coincidence. But like, the things line up, they line up. So you have an explanation, or you just say it's a coincidence. But you can't use the word coincidence too many times before someone says, do you think I'm stupid? So like, you could boil the whole case down to, what the fuck's Wendy doing at his house an hour after he gets shot? That's the whole case. If it's a coincidence, I could be innocent. If it's not a coincidence, I have to be guilty.
No, not just you. If you're guilty, Wendy's guilty.
Well, of course. Yeah, she has prior knowledge.
No, not just you. If you're guilty, Wendy's guilty.
Well, of course. Yeah, she has prior knowledge.
It's not just you. If you're guilty, Wendy's guilty. And he says, yeah, because she had prior knowledge.
Coincidence, I have to be guilty.
No, not just you. If you're guilty, Wendy's guilty.
Well, of course. Yeah, she has prior knowledge.
That's what she was
She's showing up. Right. I mean, she basically called her out on it. She couldn't help but go see it. Well, that's like saying that she was a part of it. She couldn't help herself. Wasn't that what happened?
Exactly what she said.
So she's giving a logical, simple explanation to a simple act. She showed up because she knew something was going to happen. What else are the chances of Wendy leaving her house 7 miles away, looking to drive down any street on that date, at that time, an hour after everything happened, for one reason only, and it's to go buy a bottle of liquor? Was there no liquor stores close to her house? Yeah, they mapped out like 3 or 4.
Okay, thank you for the super chat, Italian Mama. That is so generous of you. All right, I wanted to show you guys really quickly. So Mosaic is no longer in business, but this is where it used to be. And here's a liquor store right the fuck here. There's a liquor store right here. It is 466 feet away. She could have thrown a dead cat and it would have hit the liquor store. Like, there is no reason. And this is one of 4 liquor stores that are right in this plaza. There's a Publix liquor store. There's, I think, and I'm not sure if the ABC wine was there when this, 14 or, 11 years ago, but there are other liquor stores that were right in the same place that she was having lunch. So this makes absolutely no sense at all. I mean, it doesn't make sense anyway, but still, I just wanted to point that out because I went and looked up last night. I'm like, where exactly is the closest liquor store to Mosaic? Right there. Right there.
Was that the most direct route to the liquor store? It was the route she knew how to go, but it wasn't the most direct route. So it's not the most direct route. It passes 3 other liquor stores that are way closer. and she's looking to drive down that street on that time, on that day. I said to Mom, Dad, I said, what are the chances of that? Like 1 in 10,000? Or more?
More.
I mean, it's so crazy. It's so crazy, but it happens.
It's so crazy, but it happened. Yeah, we know. We know it happened. It is so crazy, but it happened. Okay, so we are gonna just wait until they start to live stream this. I'm gonna get this pulled up on Court TV because it's only gonna be another few minutes. But this is crazy. Hi, DIY with Erica. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry, unfortunately, I don't have a team of people. I do everything by myself here. So from the thumbnails to the visuals, this is why it takes me, like 2 weeks to finish an hour-long video. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what else happens. Oh, and there's something, and we'll probably talk about this more after this. But I was watching George Steinbeck this morning, and he just posted this yesterday. And he's talking about, and I missed this. There was this hearing, I guess, where they were trying to keep out this evidence that Charlie's lawyer called Isom like right after Catherine McBanawa was arrested and asked if Charlie was going to be arrested, which, why would you be arrested if you're getting extorted by Catherine McBanawa? It makes no sense. And then there's also one of the FBI wiretap calls where Katie is talking to Sigfredo's lawyer, and he says straight up, like, we've already talked to Charlie. They're not talking. They're not talking. Yeah, I'll go ahead and show that. I'll go ahead and show that after this whole thing is done with the live stream, because yeah, that was pretty telling to me too. And it took me a while to find that picture at first, because I was looking forever for a picture of the crime scene as it was at the time. And I couldn't find it. I didn't know where the heck it was. What is going on with my live stream or my chat right here? Okay, here we go. Carl Steinbeck, sorry. So where were we? Oh yeah. I was looking for a picture of the crime scene because I wanted to see exactly where the tape was. And turns out the tape is literally right at Dan's house. Right at the house, right at Dan's house. What do I think the biggest difference between... I mean, what defense is she going to go with? She almost has to go with the stupid extortion defense, because that's Charlie's defense. If she does anything else, she's ruining his appeal. But I don't think that they give a damn about each other anymore. But, I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea. How are you going to get out of this? How are you going to get out of you getting arrested on the gangway, boarding with a one-way ticket to Vietnam, and they're going to read an instruction to the jury saying that, hi, this is consciousness of guilt that she did this. You can't get out of that. I mean, if I were Georgia, I would just play the jail call where she goes on and on and on about how they want to find a non-extradition country. And then I would play the arrest of her with a one-way ticket to Vietnam on the gangway. And then I would say, the state rests. That's what I would do. Yeah, I hadn't seen that. Either, Diva, with the crime scene tape. I mean, I basically found it in an old, I think it was WCTV. They had Yeah, it was like a screen grab from, it was a screen grab from like their first story on the shooting before they even knew who it was or anything. And you can very clearly see there's Dan's house, there's the crime scene tape, it goes right across. I'll go ahead and I'll play that after this live stream. Let me go ahead and find that. Oh yeah, they're going to cannibalize each other. For sure, 100%. This family has no loyalty to each other at all. None. None. All right, this is still waiting. No, that was shocking to me. And not only that, but then, they go ahead and talk, and I think it was Sigfredo's trial where they interviewed the cop that basically saw Wendy's car. Oh no. Okay, let me fix this again. I've got this thing so high. Aw, thank you for the visuals. All right. Let me pull this up more. Okay, my audio thing is telling me that I'm screaming, but if it sounds good to you guys, then it's fine for me. All right. Okay. So yeah, so I had a theory that the way that they found her at lunch was that they could, okay, good. That they basically followed her from the crime scene because that was the only thing that made sense to me. And then I was just watching, I was doing a rewatch, I think, okay, hold on. All right, we are live. Let me switch this over, guys. Well, it just started giving me audio a second ago.
Appearances on the record.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Georgia Kappelman and Sarah Catherine Dugan for the state.
Here we go.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. John Rollo on behalf of the witness Wendy Adelson and my colleague Matthew Luca is with me as well.
Good afternoon. I have reviewed your motion, Mr. Loro, concerning the defense's subpoena as far as placing a statement on the record. I don't know if any of the parties have a position concerning you placing a statement on the record, but similar to the other trials in this matter, I do not have an issue if you do so prior to the testimony of your client. As to the placing the statement on the record, does the state have a position?
No objection, Your Honor.
Does the defense have a position?
No position, Your Honor.
Concerning placing a statement on the record, Mr. Loro, you will be permitted to do so, or another member of your firm, before your client testifies. As to the motion to quash the defense subpoena, does the state have a position?
No, Your Honor. No position.
Does the defense have a position?
Yes, Judge.
Go ahead.
May I stay here?
You may.
Judge, the issue here and the concern that we have on behalf of Mrs. Adelson is there have been 2 prior rulings in the homicide of Mr. Markell. One came from Judge Hankinson, and then another one came from Judge Wheeler. What Judge Hankinson ruled is that the immunity conferred by the state subpoena extended to cross-examination, and we believe that's an accurate statement of the law. However, Judge Wheeler limited cross-examination to only what the state brings forth on direct. This is a premature at this point, Judge. We have her under subpoena, and we may want to elicit testimony from her.
Well, before we get there on that point, when she's called as a state witness and she is cross-examined, she can be cross-examined on all matters raised by the direct and on matters of bias or impeachment or motive to lie. All matters that she can be cross-examined on pursuant to the rules of evidence extend under that state subpoena.
I understand that, Judge, but our issue is, suppose that she's one of the first witnesses to testify, and suppose after she testifies, other issues come up that we know, if we called her, she could rebut what has been said. It's not necessarily would be something that she would need to invoke her rights. It could be a very simple issue, and we would need her testimony. So until we go through the trial to see what happens, it's impossible for us to say yes, just cross-examining her on bias and credibility and whatever the state has asked about sounds good in the state's case until we hear further testimony and some issue arises.
I'll allow Mr. Lauro to make his argument, but the crux of his motion is you cannot offer this witness any protection as it relates to you calling her in your case in chief. What is your response to the written argument on that matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on, Mr. Lauro. I'm going to allow Ms. Fulford.
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me. I'm sorry, sir.
You can make your
The
argument
audio
in
is
just a
terrible from John Lauro. That's not me.
So the issue as to immunity, we cannot confer immunity to her, Judge.
Obviously.
We agree with that. We can't. But there may be
Mrs.
other
Petty.
issues where she could testify to something that she's not taking a chance, if you will, that she's going to say something that could be used against her in the future. There could be other matters that are raised in the trial that we simply want to get testimony from her as. She is the daughter of our client.
She is.
From the perspective of your client, I certainly understand the argument you're making. Mr. Lauro, you may argue.
Yes, Your Honor. This issue was addressed by Judge Wheeler in the second McBanois trial. It was also decided upon by the first DCA in July 2025 when the DCA ruled that the procedure used by Judge Wheeler was entirely correct and the subpoena in that case was quashed. It was the same issue that the defense raised, where they wanted to cross-examine my client pursuant to a defense subpoena, which conferred no immunity at all on Ms. Adelson. I indicated to the court then, as I will now, that Ms. Adelson will assert her Fifth Amendment rights with respect to any relevant question asked by the defense. So the only result of the defense procedure would be to have the client's daughter take the stand and invoke the Fifth Amendment in front of the jury. And that the court decided by Judge Wheeler that that would be inappropriate. And we would ask the court now to follow the same procedure as Judge Wheeler and follow the same procedure that was upheld by the first DCA just 1 month ago.
Does the defense have any remaining argument on this matter?
Your Honor, respectfully, the issue that was ruled on or concerning the subpoena, quashing the subpoena, Ms. McBanois did not make that argument below. She did not join the state's motion. So the first DCA did not rule that Judge Wheeler followed the proper procedure. My understanding is that the first DCA held that she had not preserved the argument.
And if I could add one thing further.
We don't have tag team motions. Who's going to finish the argument?
Oh my gosh. I'm not sure, Amy. I don't think that's going to be live streamed. You'd think the voir dire would be, maybe, but I'm not sure. They obviously wouldn't have any cameras on the jury.
Different circumstance. Our client certainly has information, knows information about her daughter that Ms. McBanois would not have ever been able to know.
Ooh.
And so it's our position that it's premature. The Fifth Amendment question, the courts have ruled, should be done on a question-by-question basis.
So your expectation is for me to ask the question, she will make some sort of signal, I'm invoking the juries to be removed, and then we do this for the entire defense direct?
No,
oh my God.
What I would suggest is that if we get into that
Judge Everett.
and absolutely
He is
cross-examination
too much.
may be sufficient.
Hilarious.
If we get into the posture of needing additional, I would suggest that potentially proffering the questions, and then she and her counsel can advise the court if she intends to invoke her privilege at that time.
Mr. Lauro, last word, and then I will rule.
Yes, Your Honor. The statement by counsel is patently incorrect and false. This issue was raised by Ms. Carras in the McBanois trial. She preserved the issue. She made the same arguments that these defense lawyers are making now. It was wholly rejected by Judge Wheeler and wholly rejected by the first DCA, and we respectfully request that Your Honor follow that ruling here. There is simply no question that the defense could ask that is relevant to this matter that Ms. Adelson, my client, would answer. She's invoking her Fifth Amendment.
Unreal.
Having reviewed the applicable authority on this issue and also reviewed the prior transcripts on this matter that were also ruled on by Judge Wheeler concerning this same subject, I am going to adopt a similar ruling. The defense cannot give the witness immunity as it relates to any matters in which she would testify under and could properly invoke the Fifth Amendment privilege. No witness can be called to the stand simply to invoke the Fifth Amendment, as there would be no basis for this witness to take the stand and give testimony on a relevant matter that also could not affect her ability to also endanger her own Fifth Amendment right. I am going to grant the relief that is requested. If we need to revisit this issue for any purpose,
Not surprising.
the defense believes there is a line of questioning that will not go to the Fifth Amendment privilege of the witness, we will at the appropriate time, but I do believe it is the proper ruling at this point to quash the subpoena. Mr. Laurel, I believe that concludes your motion for today. Again, when it's time for your client to testify, you may place your statement on the record.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good day, sir.
To you as well. That
Not surprising
concludes
there.
the public portion of the hearings for this afternoon. We will take a brief break and then resume with the in-camera matters. The courtroom is to be cleared by all non-parties at this.
Okay, well, that was pretty quick. All right. Okay, so that seems to be the public portion of that. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I did not see a world in which he would, deny Wendy's stupid little motion to, she's got to be protected, guys. And, I mean, you could see Jackie's face. She's like, this is the daughter. We're not going to have anybody to basically stand up for her. Well, you know what? This is how this whole family was raised. They are absolutely awful. Everybody in the family, save for Rob. Thank God Rob got away. Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah, I'm not surprised about that at all. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up the crime scene portion of this, where I Google Street Viewed through the crime scene, and it's pretty telling. Just give me a second to find it, guys. What do we think? Are we surprised by the ruling? I can't. Yeah, Wendy's still going down. I agree. I agree. I don't see. I mean, Georgia hates her, like, with a deep, fervent hate, and I love it. I absolutely love it. All right. Let me just figure out what video this is from. All right. Yeah, and they have cops testifying that they saw her car there. I mean, I know that's not, it's still circumstantial, obviously, but I mean, come on, guys. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, guys. All right. Well, while I'm trying to find that, I'm going to go ahead and play, because I think there's a portion of this in there too. Okay, so this is...
You saw approach the crime scene tape?
All right, hold on one sec. I'm going to, while I go ahead and try to find that other clip, we're going to watch a little bit of this. Okay.
Is the vehicle pictured in State's Exhibit 19 consistent with the vehicle that you saw approach the crime scene tape that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And the vehicle that approached the crime scene tape would have had to turn onto Trescott and come a considerable distance down Trescott to get to the crime scene tape where you were?
Yes, ma'am. Pardon?
I thought it was like a tree that fell down or something.
Right. So.
I didn't even think, like, that's the house. I saw a few houses blocked off and
There could have been any reason for what was going on and why the tape was up, right?
Yes. I would think that a reasonable person would think that it was something relatively serious going on with a number of vehicles there and all that kind of stuff, though.
I was driving up the street and I saw like the tape and I just thought, oh, maybe there's like an electrical outage or something. Like I saw the street blocked. I was driving into town. I was running errands. I was meeting some friends for lunch and I drove up Trescott because it's the shortcut. And so I drive up Trescott and I see the tape and I was like, I guess there was like an electrical outage because sometimes we'd have trees that would fall or whatever. And so I turned around and didn't think anything of it.
Testimony, officer, is that it appeared that this van, which had a clear view of her ex-husband's house, right?
Yes.
Your testimony is assuming to this jury that it was Wendy Adelson that was driving that car, right?
I'm sorry, say that last part again.
Your testimony, or what you're suggesting to these jurors, is that that may have been Wendy Adelson in that maroon color in this vehicle, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so your testimony was also that when the car came, the person didn't stop and ask you what's going on, right?
No.
The person didn't get out screaming, oh my God, that's my ex-husband's house, right?
No.
And you would agree with me that that may be considered a normal response to seeing law enforcement and crime scene and EMS and somebody that you had a relationship with, that's their house, right?
Quite possibly.
So the normal response would have at least been to inquire, correct?
I can't say what her normal response was because I don't know what her role exactly was.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. The car in question didn't stop, right?
No, sir.
Okay. Didn't stop to inquire to you as to what's going on, right?
No, sir.
Didn't get out of the car?
No, sir.
Didn't ask you any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. And pretty smoothly made a 3-point turn and drove away, right?
Correct.
It appears you were traveling on Centerville Road. Is that a normal way that you would ingress and egress from your Aqua Ridge residence?
That sounds right.
All right, and when you left your residence, you said you were going to lunch. Did you go directly to lunch?
No, I stopped and made a purchase for a party that I was supposed to attend first.
And what was that purchase?
It was my first time purchasing bourbon. It was for not a bridal shower. It was for a bachelor. No, it was for a wedding party, but it was the bride and groom together, and they had asked for people to buy certain alcohol to help them.
Like a stock the bar party.
A stock the bar party. I forgot what it's called.
But I'm referring to your visit to the crime scene.
I did not visit the crime scene.
Okay. You did not pull up to the crime scene tape on Trescott Drive?
No. I was driving on Centerville Road, and sometimes I would take the shortcut through Trescott.
Yes, ma'am.
But when I was driving on Centerville Road, I saw some sort of tape or obstruction, and so I didn't turn.
Okay.
Okay, this is before I was narrating my videos. But yeah, basically
you were just passing by Trescott Road.
For all 3 trials that she has already testified in, her testimony changes every single time about how far she went down Trescott. It changes 3 times.
On Centerville Road, would you have been able?
Oh, and also I found the clip for Trescott, so we'll play that next.
To observe the crime scene tape?
From Centerville Road?
Yes, sir.
No.
Why not?
There's a considerable distance between there, and it also kind of curves
considerable.
Okay. Okay.
There's a message that says, "This is so sweet." Who is that
Objection, Your Honor.
message to?
Objection.
Hold on, what's the objection?
Hearsay, Your Honor. Item is in evidence.
That's sustained.
All right. Can you say who the message before the Best Buy message? Who did you send that message to?
It looks like I sent that message to my brother.
Your brother Charlie?
Yes.
All right. And that message was deleted as well?
I always delete my messages. But yes, it looks like I deleted it at some point.
All right. And that message, what were you referring to in that message, if you know?
I have no idea.
No clue.
It was sweet, whatever it was.
I mean, 8 years ago, I have no idea what was sweet.
On the way to run your errands, did you go by the crime scene?
No.
Nope.
On the way to run your errands, did you encounter a roadblock on Trescott?
I did.
All right, so you did turn off of Centerville onto Trescott.
I did.
Now she did turn off a Centerville onto Trescott. She didn't at first,
Right,
but
and
now
when
she
you
did.
encountered a roadblock,
Unreal.
what did you assume the problem was there?
I figured it was just an electrical storm or something. There was some tape, and it looked like the road was blocked off. And so I just turned around and went back and went up Benton.
And had there been an electrical storm that morning?
I didn't remember an electrical storm, but in the summertime, there's always trees falling and rainstorms, so pretty normal.
Right, and you weren't concerned based on that experience that there could be something going on at previously your marital home?
Absolutely not.
And your ex-husband, Dan Markell, had your children at that time, right?
No, he did not.
Okay, so you had your children at that time?
No, my children were at preschool at that time.
Right, but who took them to preschool?
I just want to cut in here real quick. I lived in Florida for 22 years. I lived in Tampa Bay, the lightning capital of the world, and trees do not just fall down. The only time I have ever seen trees down is during hurricanes. That's it. They don't just randomly fall over. The soil is not that bad. I mean, it's sand. It is kind of terrible, but this is such a bullshit lie. I can't even with it.
School that day.
Danny would have taken them to preschool.
Okay. So it was his day. He was killed on his parenting day.
It was the day he would have brought them to preschool, and I would have picked them up.
All right. Did they spend the night with him the night before?
They did.
I hate this
And you
bitch.
hadn't seen your children yet that day when you encountered the roadblock?
Ugh.
On Friday, no.
Okay. And when you encountered, at the time that you encountered the roadblock or shortly thereafter, did you call the daycare?
No.
Did you call Dan Markell?
No.
Did you do anything to reach out to any of the players that we've talked about in this case?
No.
Did you communicate?
No, because when I drive up to my house, it wasn't just Dan's house. She lived there for like 8 years. So it's not like she didn't know where she was. She didn't know what was going on. You drive up to your house that your kids spent the night there the night before, and you don't call at least the preschool to make sure that they're in school. You are demented and guilty
To anyone that there was a roadblock?
I didn't. I would have had no reason to do that.
Would the view that this driver of the van that approached the tape have had, would that driver have had a clear view of Mr. Markell's driveway?
Objection, speculation.
Overruled.
You may answer the question.
Should have been.
And would the person driving the van have been able to observe at the time that that person pulled up that there were emergency vehicles present in the driveway of Dan Markell?
It should be evident. There's plenty of emergency response vehicles and stuff on scene. We're only, like I said, approximately a few houses down.
What emergency vehicles were present at the scene at the time that vehicle pulled up?
There was probably approximately 4 or 5 patrol cars, the marked patrol cars.
All the patrol cars, a ton of cops.
One of the crime scene vehicles, which is also marked with police on it, and then some of the investigators.
Okay. And your vehicle, was that a marked patrol vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you seated inside the vehicle or were you standing outside the vehicle?
I was seated inside.
Okay, and did this person in the van get out or attempt to interact with you at all or ask you anything?
No, ma'am.
I would have had no reason to do that.
So it makes sense that you might have left your residence at about 12:30?
Stupid face.
Sure.
I can't even.
Okay. And did you go to the crime scene or very near the crime scene on your way from your residence to, I guess, to lunch or to wherever you were going next?
No, I did not.
So you never turned on Trescott Drive that day?
I went to turn on Trescott Drive, but I saw that it had been blocked off by some tape, and so I just kept driving on Centerville.
Okay.
She's like directing like an airplane down the runway with her stupid little hand motions. I hate her so much.
Just so I understand, your car was blocking off traffic that would have gone down Trescott. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And just to help me out here, sir, what street would vehicles be traveling down that would run into? Would they be traveling down Trescott, or was it another street?
No, on Trescott.
On Trescott.
Okay, and when you had to turn around at the tape, right, to go back out?
I think I tried to turn right, and it couldn't turn, so
George's
I would've made
face.
like the kind of turn, like a K-turn thing.
So you know how sometimes like, oh god, this frickin' pain in the ass. When you try to turn but you like can't turn. So you turn anyway. I can't with this stupid bitch, I swear to god. So you just do like one of those turns like oh, like a K-turn, like that, like, because no turn equals a like K-turn, like. Oh, I can't. A mess.
So when vehicles would come, they would have to make a 3-point turn to turn around?
Yes, sir.
Because it's a somewhat narrow road. Is that a fair assessment? Just one way for both locations?
Yeah, an average residential.
An average residential. Going one lane for north and one lane for south, or east or west, however it breaks down?
Yes, sir.
Was there a roadblock there with?
There was tape.
Yeah, and an officer was there?
I didn't see an officer, but I did see a car.
A law enforcement marked vehicle? Okay, did you have any contact with the officer?
No.
Okay. Would your vehicle have been readily visible to the person in the van?
Yes, I had the emergency lights activated also.
Emergency lights were even on.
Did you do anything
God.
after that to try to find out what was going on down that roadway?
No, I just assumed it was weather, or maybe a tree fell.
Had there been bad weather that day?
No, but it was summertime and there's electrical storms and trees fall, so that would have been pretty normal for
Had there
summertime.
been bad weather?
And
No.
could you describe
But maybe
how
it was.
the vehicle, what happened once it pulled out?
Just came up and made a 3-point turn and turned around and left the area.
All right, and did it do so? I'm assuming other vehicles probably did the same thing during that time frame you were holding the perimeter, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Because there was no ingress or egress down Trescott past that point, correct?
No.
All right, and the vehicle, did this vehicle turn around in any different fashion from the other ones that you observed turning around?
This is so
I think
damning.
there'll be a little less hesitation compared to other vehicles.
What do you mean by that?
Overruled.
Can you describe what you mean by that?
Average systems would be pulling up, and there's that kind of pause where I guess they're formulating a new plan, like, oh, I can't go the way I was planning on going. And then, kind of sit there for a second, and then they'll eventually turn around and go. The way I remember it, this van, just came right up, made the 3-point turn and left. Nothing crazy. It wasn't squealing tires or anything crazy like that.
It wasn't
though.
squealing tires, he says. All right. She's such a lying piece of shit. Okay. So I'm going to drag this over because this is where I go through and I basically do so it's kind of hard to tell from just like the overhead map how they show it in courts. And I'm a very visual person. So I wanted to actually drive as much as I could down the street using Google Street Maps. So I go ahead and drive down this. And what you don't really, or what I at least didn't really notice, is how many turns are in this road before you get to Dan's house. And what ends up happening is the visibility. You could never in a trillion years see Dan's house from Centerville where she's claiming to see this tape. Like never, ever, 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 ever would you ever be able to see that. So we will go ahead and play this through because this is very interesting, and I will show you exactly where the crime scene tape really was, because I just don't think that the when they testified on this during Charlie's trial, there were two different testimonies saying that the crime scene tape was 4 houses away, 5 houses away, 3 houses away, whatever. And I think the reason why that was said, so if you've ever lived in Florida, they have everything really stacked in on top of each other. You are usually very, very close to your neighbor. So these are slightly wider lots than the normal Florida that I'm used to. So I think maybe that's why they were thinking that it was, however many houses away. But as you can very clearly see, and I'll show you this in a second, the crime scene tape was right in front of Dan's house, directly in front of Dan's house, and nowhere else. Oh, hold on, guys. Hold on. I've made my thing mad. All right, sorry, guys. All right. Okay. Where did this go? Okay, hold on one sec, guys. I moved it over, but my little thing isn't picking it up. Just give me a sec. I really can't with this woman. I have no words for her. None that are good, at least. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. Let's switch back over and let's go ahead and watch this. Okay, now we can see it. It's a 3-minute drive. And there's 4 major turns that come in here. Okay, so I go ahead and I drop a pin here so I can start right here on Centerville and then go ahead and turn on Trescott. All right, so here we go. We're going to drive to Dan's house. And as you notice, you can look at the end of the road and you can't see anything past these corners, these curves, these bends in the road. And it's showing the wrong side of the street most of the time with the street numbers, but it's still, you know where we are. So look, you can't see anything around this turn at all. But of course, Wendy saw it all the way from Centerville. Yeah, if you were going down a shortcut, why would you take one that has a trillion speed bumps? I think this has like 5 or 6 speed bumps before Dan's house. Ugh. I love this music. So yeah, this turn right here, you can still not see past it. And I don't even feel like it's an actual turn. This road is just lined with like super mature oak trees also. I mean, look at the road. It's a super you know, it has all these huge trees. You can't see anything. Yeah, I hope so too, because it makes it really pretty clear. So here's the second bend in the road, and you can't see anything past this corner at all. We're not even close to being able to see Dan's house, and we're halfway down the road. Yeah, it's a 25-mile-an-hour residential street with literal speed bumps throughout the entire thing. What I would do to avoid any speed bumps, because you have to go literally like 5 miles an hour over them to not rip the bottom out of your car. Yeah, and she didn't realize she was driving on it. Fucking bullshit. Bullshit. Lying sack of shit she is. Alright. So here we are. We're halfway down the street. More than halfway down the street. Dan's house is right there. You still can't see it. You still can't see it. We've driven 2 minutes down the street. You still can't see anything. Good Lord. I made it on Suno, I think it's called. It's like an AI music thing. You can put in prompts to like what kind of music you want. There's another speed bump right there. But do you see how wide these lots are? And I mean, if you live like in the country or not in Florida, I don't think it would probably seem that big to you, but these are exceptionally big lots for Florida in what I've seen, at least. Here's another speed bump, yet another speed bump, and these are huge speed bumps too. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go, guys. So, I'm just going to pause this for a second. So, we are right at the point where this picture was taken. This mailbox right here, this brick mailbox that's behind the tape, this is Dan's immediate neighbor. This is the neighbor on the other side of Dan's neighbor. Here's the crime scene tape right here. Dan's house is right here. I'm pretty sure this is Isom right here. But here's the crime scene tape. It's literally blocking only Dan's house. And this is where we are right now on Google Street View at this mailbox right here. Okay, here's the next mailbox. This is Dan's immediate neighbor. Right there. Dun, dun, dun. There's Dan's house. Right there. Here's the mailbox. You can't see anything until then. So if she's claiming she drove up to this tape, she drove up to his house that she also lived in for almost a decade. Unreal. What a lying piece of crap. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I put this a little more forward than it was. It was really back here on this. But Brandon was literally parked right in front of Dan's driveway, essentially. This is a little bit more forward than it was in actuality. In actuality, it was right there. So here is the crime scene. Hold on, let me pause this. Here is Dan's house. Here is the next door house. And here's where the crime scene tape was. It was literally put up right at Dan's house. Right at Dan's house. Unreal. Oh yeah, I saw it from Centerville. Totally. I just saw it from Centerville. She's a lying piece of shit. Liar, liar, pants on fire, Wendy. Yep, one thing remained the same, the fact that she drove right up to the darn tape every single time. That was the only consistent. Here we go.
And I saw that it was blocked. So I went to drive from my place Trescott to get to ABC Liquor, and it was blocked, so I just turned around. I was driving up the street and I saw like the tape. Like I saw the street blocked, and I drove up Trescott because it's the shortcut. And so I drive up Trescott and I see the tape.
I was driving on Centerville Road, and sometimes I would take the shortcut through Trescott.
Yes, ma'am.
But when I was driving on Centerville Road, I saw some sort of tape or obstruction, and so I didn't turn.
Okay.
No.
On the way
She
to
didn't
run your
even turn.
errands, did you encounter a roadblock on Trescott?
I did.
All right,
She
so
did.
you did turn off of Centerville onto Trescott.
She turned now.
I went to turn on Trescott Drive,
What
but I
an
saw
idiot.
that it had been blocked off by some tape, and so I just kept driving on Centerville.
All right, and when you had to turn around at the tape, right, to go back out?
I think I tried to turn right, and it couldn't turn, so...
Georgia's
it made
face here, guys.
The kind of turn, like a K-turn thing.
Was there a roadblock there with...
There was tape.
Yeah, and an officer was there?
I didn't see an officer, but I did see a car.
A law enforcement
A cop
vehicle?
car, you dumbass.
Okay, did you have any contact with the officer?
No.
That's what this war is all about. You can't legally take possession of the caves as long as the Wachatis inhabit the area.
This got made copyright claimed.
You can taste it. But, sir, I thought that... Yep, thank you.
That's a fine theory, Mr. Ventura. What's it got to do with me?
Oh, that's what you slipped in. That's what was on your shoe. And that explains the abrasion on your palm.
Oh my God. I can't even with her. I can't even. It's so, I mean, it's so incredibly clear. Okay, so I think, do I have, yeah, I think, yeah, okay. So somebody commented how far out of the way ABC Liquor was. Far. Okay. So I'm going to turn back to this. Okay, so this is where her house was. This is a near 20-minute drive. Okay. Mosaic is literally almost directly parallel with her house over here. So she drove all the way down here, right up to Trescott, right up to Dan's house, backed out, went down here, went to the ABC Liquor, probably because she had to have some plausible reason for being there. Then went up here. There's a Circle K right here. And I have it. I put it in a Google map. Let me see if I can find it. All right. No, she drove way out of her way, absolutely way out of her way to get down to this. All right, let me see. Okay, so yeah, there's a little bit more of this that we can watch. Yes, everybody was there. There was There was absolutely everybody was there. There was a forensic van. There was everything. So there's Dan's house, also the house that she lived in the entire time they were married.
Respond to the sound of gunfire in a quiet Tallahassee neighborhood.
I'm standing outside of the home that police had taped off early this morning. We're going to go through the timeline of events.
The
of the little
home,
information
the
that we do
singular
have.
home they
Around
had taped
11 a.m., a neighbor called police hearing a loud bang noise. First responders found a person with a gunshot wound. That was a loud bang that
You can
neighbors
see the
heard.
tape right
they
there,
were taken to a
too.
local hospital. Now, we don't have the identity of the victim or where that person was shot.
TPD's going
Forensic
to do
van.
and look at everything. So we're going to start our search out wide, and it could be anything that occurred, and narrow it down to where the evidence directs us.
There was an ambulance at the residence and did see someone being brought out. Can't really describe who or what was being brought out.
There's the tape right
but they
there.
were bringing somebody out on a stretcher.
TPD says if you have any information on this case, you're asked to call them, and as soon as we get any more details, we'll pass them along to you.
Tallahassee police investigators now say Dan Markell was the intentional victim of a deadly shooting. Monday, police officers went door to door in the Benton Hills neighborhood where the murder took place. They were asking to see if anybody saw something between the hours of 10 in the morning to noon on Friday.
It's really crazy. It's absolutely insane. All right, the chat isn't loading for me properly. There we go. All right. Thank you, guys. Yeah, she said that she would be drinking that bourbon for dinner. It's insane. Oh, great. The audio issue is back. Ugh. All right. So let me go ahead. Let me see. I feel like. All right. We went over that. That is done. Yeah, her entire story is just so easy to pick apart. I mean, it's just like not even funny. All right, so let me see. Yeah, and I know a lot of people think that ISOM like wasn't hard enough on her, but I don't think that, you know, we got so much out of her interview, interrogation, whatever you want to call it. She was there for 6 hours. She wouldn't have been there for 6 seconds if ISOM had started going hard on her. If she thought for a second that she was a suspect, she would have been gone. And one of the first things he did was take her phone. And now the thing with the phone, okay, one of the reasons why people don't think Wendy's going to be indicted or charged is because they're like, well, we don't have enough evidence against her. How in the hell do we know what evidence the state has against her? Do you think the state is laying out all of the evidence that they had on her? Like, they're not. They're keeping all that close to their chest. Georgia's not going to come out and say, oh yeah, this is everything that we have on Wendy. But Georgia asks her at length about WhatsApp. And let me see, I'm going to try to get that here in this, here we go. Okay. So all the WhatsApp data, I have a little Cellbrite video talking about the WhatsApp extraction that I will go ahead and play. Hold on. And then we'll go ahead and we can watch Georgia continually question Wendy about WhatsApp. And I'm sorry, but Georgia is not just doing things to do them. She has this is, first of all, this is the court's time. And Georgia, I think more than anybody, is not going to be wasting the court's time. So why in the hell would she take 10 or 15 minutes to talk to Wendy on the stand about WhatsApp if they didn't have all of this information on her?
Be faster, because you have taken control on what you want to process. This is a fast way for you to triage your case or get a quick glimpse on what the user was using for applications of interest.
No, I don't think she's bluffing. I don't think she would be talking about that in open court if they didn't have information on
Another
this.
Tip Tuesday. I want to
Here's
discuss with you a
Cellbrite,
new
what they
feature
use to
built
extract the
into
data with.
Cloud within Physical Analyzer. So I'm going to go to Cloud Extraction Private Cloud Data, and I'm going to enter the first and last name, Hank Rules, of the person I'm examining, my examiner names, original extracted value, and any other options of choice. So you can choose your path and whatever you want to save it as, and then press next. Now I want to search for WhatsApp because I want to show you this new WhatsApp web chat feature that we have. And here you're going to see that it's telling us you must have access to the user's mobile device. Obviously it has to be unlocked because you're going to have to scan the QR code. I select save, and I'm going to select next. And you'll see when it's trying to validate, it is going to tell you that you need to scan a code. So QR scan required, enter your name, giving it authority and saying you have legal rights to do this in proper jurisdiction, and say I approve. So then I go up and I scan this code. So now I scan the device, and you can see it says valid, and we select next. You can choose a date time period on what you legally have authority to be examining. So I'm going to choose January 1st through now and say use for all data sources. And as you scan down, it's going to show you what it can get. So I'm going to say apply and next, and then start extraction. At this point, Physical Analyzer is going to extract the private cloud data from this WhatsApp web based upon the QR code that you scanned and provide you access to unique artifacts that you may not otherwise have access to.
Did you communicate with anyone on WhatsApp or similar technology to relay any information about the murder of your husband?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, she still has the ring.
Do you know if your brother Charlie had WhatsApp at the time?
I have no idea.
Did you communicate with him through WhatsApp?
If I had WhatsApp on my phone, then maybe I did. I know I had friends who lived around the world. At that time, WhatsApp was more of a technology used to talk to people internationally. So I know the friend I was talking to was in England. If I had WhatsApp, I would have used it to call him.
So that's a yes, by the way. That is a yes. Wendy had WhatsApp. That's a yes.
Did you know that WhatsApp, the communications are encrypted? They cannot be retrieved by law enforcement. Were you aware of that?
I think they can be retrieved by law enforcement, but it's one of the end-to-end encryption services.
All right, and so you can't tell the jury whether you communicated through WhatsApp at all on the day of the murder?
I don't remember if I had it 8 years ago. I have it now, so we could look and figure out if I had it then, but I...
So LW, and I don't have the map pulled up right now, but Wendy's house is up here. Dan's house is down here. Mosaic was literally a 3.5 mile drive almost directly to the west of where Wendy's house was. So it would have taken her 6 minutes to get to Mosaic, where there were 4 liquor stores there. So too much.
I don't know.
All right. Did you ever communicate with Catherine Magbanua at any time through WhatsApp?
I never communicated with her at all.
Let's talk for a second about WhatsApp. And as an aside here for a second, the government asked you the question if you used WhatsApp, right? You remember that?
I remember them asking me, yes.
On the day that Professor Markel was killed, you went in for the interview, right?
I talked to the police.
And you also gave them your phone for them to inspect.
Absolutely.
All right. So the determination of what, if any, WhatsApp was being used, they would have from the download they did that day of your phone.
Sure.
Sure.
Now, would you be surprised to learn that your brother used WhatsApp?
No.
You would agree with me that WhatsApp, and you explained it well, is end-to-end encryption.
Correct.
In your lay opinion, if you can explain to the jurors, just in case they don't know, what that means.
I know that it's something we use at my work because essentially it has the ability to keep things more private. I also know that nothing's actually private and that anyone who wants to can uncode the messages. So that's
the $350, the $350,000, Amy was in their joint bank account.
That's what we tell people at our work.
So
And
the
yeah,
thought
he
is
was
with
brutal
WhatsApp,
with
if-
her. I loved it.
If I use my phone and I call somebody, the call could be listened to. If I text somebody, it's recordable, right?
I think so.
But with WhatsApp, you can send messages or have phone calls where there's no record of it.
I don't think that's true. I think
she had to say this because she knows that probably they have her data. But I think that This Is So Sweet text was meant to be sent through WhatsApp to Charlie.
there is still a record of it.
But the belief and the thought, I'll withdraw that question. Your lay understanding, though, is that the footprint that it leaves is much less than that of normal communications.
I think it's different, but I think it still leaves a digital footprint that's easily uncodable.
If you were to send a WhatsApp message to Ms. Kappelman, it would show that a message was sent, but it would be hard to get what the content of the message is.
I don't think that's true.
Did you have WhatsApp on your phone at that
Stupid
time?
Charlie's stupid face.
I don't know if in 2014 I had WhatsApp. Now we use it for all the parent chats at school, so it's everybody seems to have it, but I don't know if everybody had it back in 2014.
Okay, so she says, I don't know if everybody had it back in 2014. Nobody's asking you if everybody had WhatsApp, you dumb shit. They're asking if you had WhatsApp. And there is no way that you can't know what messenger apps that you have had on your phone. I know every single thing that I have ever downloaded on my phone. This is a total freaking bogus lie, as with everything that comes out of her mouth.
What is WhatsApp?
WhatsApp app is kind of an app you would use for texting.
Do you know if your brother Charlie had it at that time?
I have no idea if he had it at that time.
Did you ever communicate with Charlie through WhatsApp?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know if I had it at
Yeah,
that
he
time.
looked like
or
he
if
was
I had
about
it
to
later, I
vomit.
probably would have.
It's just not sure.
Yeah,
Did you have
He
any
doesn't
contact
know.
of any kind with Catherine Magbanua on the day of Dan Markel's murder?
No.
Did you ever communicate with her through WhatsApp?
Blink
No, I
so
never
hard.
communicated with her at all.
All right, let's talk about, well, you communicated with her on the beach.
I saw her
Here
in
comes the hand
person, but
jibe.
I'm saying I never texted with her, called her. I never communicated via a device other than in person.
Okay.
Look over there!
Why would Georgia Kappelman waste so much time talking?
I don't think Georgia Kappelman would waste a minute of the court's time if she didn't have WhatsApp and if they didn't have information on WhatsApp. No, I think that she knows. I think they have all the information because, and I have it right on here too. Okay, so I'm going to play this a little bit more because listen to what Katie McBanua's lawyer says during her opening statement.
About WhatsApp if it had no relevance. And let's listen to what Katie McBanua's lawyer said in her opening statement.
And just so you know, the state and the FBI were able to get a copy of Charles Adelson's iCloud account in this case from the year 2012, I believe, all the way up to 2016. And I am talking about every text message, every instant message, every WhatsApp message,
Every WhatsApp
even the
message.
conversations that he tried to delete. It's all there.
Good afternoon, Your
Boom.
Good afternoon.
I absolutely love Katie McBanua's lawyer's accent. Love it so much. Love it so much. Yeah, now everybody has WhatsApp now, but she doesn't know if everybody had it back then. She is a mess. All right, somebody said something. Let me scroll up in the chat real quick. Yeah, Charlie looked like he was gonna vomit. Okay, so I have the clip about the stuff with the kids. Let me go ahead and pull that up.
Correct. Okay.
Whoops. Because yeah, she states flat out that if there was a problem with the kids, Danny would have called me. And then right after that, they showed that she had a missed call from Danny. So it's kind of insane. All right, let me find this. The problem is it's hard for me to keep keep all my videos straight. All right. Okay. Ugh. it popped up the part where she's calling herself a fierce mama cat. That makes me want to barf. All right. Okay, let me see. Sorry, guys. I appreciate you dealing with me trying to find these clips. Okay, well, I can't find that one right this very second. I'll look for that while we watch this next clip. Okay, so I don't think everybody has heard this, but there is police documents. Basically, Sigfredo Garcia was making wine in prison. And Sigfredo Garcia even says this, Luis Rivera even says, when he gets drunk, he just won't shut up. He talks and talks and talks. He apparently divulged to 2 other inmates that Donna paid for a first hit that was never carried out. That she, more like a feral cat. Yes, that's so accurate. She prepaid another guy or a couple other guys $50,000 to kill Dan, and they never did it because obviously, why would you go kill somebody if you already have the money in your hand? But I'm going to go ahead and play this for you, and we can listen to this because this is insane.
Fredo Garcia confirms with Katie that Wendy just saw them. They also learned from Katie that Wendy was just there to check to see if the job had been done yet, and provided them with a new piece of information, which was that Dan was leaving the following day on a trip, and the job had to be done by Friday the 18th, which they would have had no other way of finding out had it not been through Katie via Wendy. Now, there's a few parts that I want to touch on. The first being why Wendy may have been so paranoid that the job wasn't going to be actually done. We, of course, know that there were 2 trips by Rivera and Garcia up to Tallahassee, the first one in June being a failed attempt. But what is also highlighted in the TPD investigative reports is that there was a potential other failed attempt by hitmen who were hired prior to Garcia and Rivera. And in that instance, not only was Danny not killed, the hitmen never even went to do the job. I received a message via email on January 3rd, 2019, referencing an inmate, Nicholas Atteridge. I returned the call to Angela Frank, an attorney who is acquainted with Atteridge. Ms. Fink stated that Atteridge wanted to provide a statement regarding his conversation with fellow inmate Sigfredo Garcia while they were housed together in the L pod of the Leon County Jail. It should be noted that I attempted to interview Atteridge previously. During my interview with another inmate, Jason McNair, on December 20th, 2016, McNair had referred to a second inmate that had conversations with Garcia while in L pod. McNair said the second inmate was Nick and thought his last name was similar to Aldridge. I conducted a search of inmates and found Atteridge was possibly the person that McNair was referring to. On a subsequent jail visit, the last week of December 2016, I met with Atteridge in the D-Pod conference room. He appeared to be groggy and sleep-deprived. I asked about any conversations that he had with Garcia while they were together in L-Pod. Atteridge portrayed suspicion in my inquiry and asked if McNair had named him. I acknowledged that McNair had stated that Nick was present when Garcia made incriminating statements in the L pod. On January 25th, 2017, Sergeant Pat Sanford and I went to LCJ to contact Atteridge in the D-Pod conference room. I reminded Atteridge that I had previously attempted to interview him the last week of December 2016. He acknowledged the visit and said he had not slept for several days because his cases were pending plea agreements at that time, and he thought my inquiry was about other criminal activity that he was part of previously or while in custody at LCJ. He went on to say that he had just left a visit with his attorney before coming to the conference room to see us and had signed a sentencing agreement for his charges wherein he would eventually be transferred to a state prison. Atteridge expressed his willingness to provide information on his interaction with Sigfredo Garcia while they were in LPOD at LCJ. After some conversation regarding his time spent in LPOD and interaction with Garcia, it was apparent Atteridge was familiar with participants and events in the murder conspiracy. Atteridge agreed to have his statement audio recorded. And guys, I tried to get this audio, but they're not releasing it yet. During the interview, I reminded Atteridge, since his sentence had been determined prior to our interview, that there would be no consideration for his testimony, to which he agreed. In summary, Atteridge had two significant conversations with Garcia regarding the murder. The first was when Garcia learned co-defendant Luis Rivera had accepted a plea in exchange for testimony. After getting drunk on homemade alcohol, Atteridge referred to as toilet wine, Garcia began complaining to inmates by saying Rivera had waited in the car while Garcia shot Markel and Rivera had supplied the gun used in the murder. The second conversation occurred when Garcia found out that Catherine McBanoa had been arrested. Once again, Garcia got drunk and said he wanted to get word out to McBanoa to testify against himself and the Adelsons. Atteridge asked Garcia how much he had gotten paid for the murder. Garcia never gave a monetary amount, but stated that McBanoa got breast enhancement and Garcia and Rivera got toys, referring to motorcycles and cash. Atteridge went on to say he understood from Garcia that McBanoa brought the murder plot to Garcia, telling him her ex-boyfriend's mother wanted the murder to happen and paid for it to be completed. After the conclusion of the initial recorded interview, Atteridge stated that he wanted to add some information. I activated the audio recorder again, and he provided the additional information, which concerned Garcia, stating his money would stop being sent to LCJ since McBanoa was arrested herself. The money was for the murder payment, according to Garcia, via Atteridge. He stated that the information he provided was directly from Garcia, and he understood that he may be called to testify in court. A copy of the audio recordings will be submitted to the SAO, and this case remains open active. On December 13, 2016, I was notified that the State Attorney's Office, SAO, had received a letter from Jason McNair, an inmate at the Leon County Jail. The letter was addressed to the Queen herself, Ms. Georgia Kappelman,
Queen,
the best assistant state attorney ever in the history of ever, prosecuting the Markel homicide. McNair stated in the letter that he had a lot of information on Garcia and McBanoa, who were co-defendants in the Markel murder. McNair stated in the letter that he would be willing to provide the information. LCJ records indicate McNair was in the same housing pod, L, as Garcia from September 12th of 2016 to October 10th of that same year. I went to LCJ on December 20th, 2016 to conduct an interview with McNair,
listen
who
to
is
this.
now housed in Pod J.
'Cause this
McNair
is
was
fucking
summoned to a
crazy.
conference room for the J Pod, where he and I conversed in a closed room. McNair provided some of his background and stated that he was in the L Pod with Garcia in September and October of 2016. He was asked to describe the setting and stated that there were usually 96 inmates in the pod, with 2 inmates assigned to each individual cell. Aside from lockdown at night or when inmates were transferred in and out of the pod, the inmates were allowed access to the other cells and the common areas of the pod. On an unknown date, sometime after McManaman's arrest, which was October 1st, 2016, Garcia began talking to McNair and the other inmates about the murder and how he became involved in carrying out the crime. Garcia said he was offered the task by his ex-girlfriend and the mother of his children. McNair and Garcia referred to the woman by her last name that McNair knows starts with an M. McNair does not know why Garcia did this when telling this account, as McNair knows the woman's first name is Katie. Garcia told him that another woman named Dawn asked Katie about having someone killed for money. McNair and Garcia also referred to this woman as Dawn
Adelson,
who is a mother-in-law or a grandmother that wanted the man killed
both
to get custody of 2 children.
Unreal.
Garcia also said Dawn had paid other people $50,000 up front to commit the murder, but they did not do so. This time,
Unreal.
Dawn told Katie
this information
that
is
she
unreal.
would pay $5,000 up front for expenses and then $100,000 when it was done. Why would they kill Dan if you gave them all the money up front? They have
wouldn't.
the money, and
You
then they're
stupid
not gonna get
idiot.
a murder charge on top of it. How dumb can you be, Donna? As this information became pertinent to the case, I asked McNair if he would agree to have the conversation audio recorded.
I couldn't
He
get
agreed
that
to the
audio.
recording, and I activated a digital recorder for the remainder of the interview. In addition to the above information, McNair provided the following information, which was audio recorded.
So basically, he goes on just to say the rest of the details of the current murder that Sigfredo and Rivera did together. Is that not crazy? Donna, first of all, the fact that they tried to have Dan killed before this is just, it was absolutely mind-blowing to me. But the fact that this idiot would pay hitmen up front all of the money, and I'm honestly surprised that she didn't like put in a BBB complaint and like call the cops that, hello, they took my money and they didn't kill my son-in-law, and that's what I paid for them to do, and they owe me $50,000 back. I'm really surprised that she didn't turn them in for that, like, to be perfectly honest, because I feel like that is how dumb Donna is. So there's been, the people that know of this information have questioned why this hasn't been brought to trial, as like a portion of the trial. So apparently this man, Jason McNair, has since passed away. So that is why this hasn't been brought in, because there's nobody to testify for this information. However, I did ask the Tallahassee Police Department for this audio, and they were not releasing it yet. So maybe after Donna's done, we'll be able to get the actual audio of this, because as much as the transcript is obviously like super damning, I would love to hear it come from his actual mouth. Christina, this is my first live, but I am going to be live streaming the trial when that starts and popping in and out. And I'm sure I'll do a few more lives on the way up, because I don't think they're streaming jury selection, but we'll have to come on and do a few more lives. All right. So that to me was just some of the most insane information. I went through and I had gotten all of the police reports from the Tallahassee Police Department, and there's quite a few things in there. I mean, they pretty much knew that Wendy they suspected her immediately. Like immediately. This is in the police documents that basically they suspected her immediately. And somebody in the chat earlier said that Geiger gave her name out. Well, he did, and he said that, they just recently went through a divorce. But the house was, and somebody else said this also, the house was in Wendy's name when Dan was killed. So when they looked it up on the tax collectors, her name immediately came up, and they suspected her immediately. Now, what ended up happening is the detective in charge, which would have been Isom, had told, and I can't think of his name right now, but the gentleman that we watched, the officer that we watched testify about sitting there and seeing Wendy's van pull up, they told him immediately, be on the lookout for this van. This is the ex-wife, be on the lookout for this van. And probably more than anything, to be able to, when this person got out of their car, to say, oh my God, what's going on, if she heard about it, to be able to easily identify her and say, oh, I understand that you're the ex-wife of the victim, da-da-da-da-da. Not only that, but something that I learned from the police reports is they sent another officer to Wendy's house to surveil her house immediately. And they must have just missed her. She must have already left to go to Truscott, basically. But you know what's, I'm, and I don't know this for sure, but Isom was likely at Dan's house when this happened, because the officer said that as soon as Wendy pulled up, he told the person in charge, hey, that lady just came, just so you know, like, she's here right now. So they called off the guy that was sitting out in front of her house and blah, blah, blah. He didn't write about her fake crying, but he did write a book that says to cue tears, and I just thought that was really hilariously ironic. And yeah, not so much of a shortcut, and not so much of a shortcut when you're literally driving 11 miles versus the 3.6 miles that was to the stupid thing. Let me see. Yeah, I know it should have been corrected, but I think I'm sure that when Wendy goes up, they will have more exacting information on exactly where that crime tape was, because it's insane. So really, one of the main reasons why I think that they haven't gone after Wendy yet is they are able to get, and I feel like this is absolutely damning that Wendy drove by the crime scene. I think it's absolutely damning that she drove by the crime scene and she didn't get out to check on what was wrong. And one of the best things about having Wendy on the stand is they can bring in that information not once but twice, because they can bring it from Wendy and then they can bring it in from the officer. And they have two conflicting tales of what happened that day. And who do you think has more reason to lie, Wendy or the officer, who literally has no stake in this? He doesn't care. He's just telling what happened. And he has a report about everything that happened. So, them bringing her in to testify is the main reason why I think that they haven't, I know, right? I think that's the main reason why they haven't arrested her yet. One, because they can't really charge everybody all at once also. But if she was already arrested and then they wanted her to testify, they would have to offer her something to testify. Okay, because she could just flat out refuse. The reason why she's testifying now is because they're subpoenaing her, and then they're offering, okay, look, you just have this immunity, you'll be protected. We won't say, anything you say can't be used against you, which is the only thing that she has. That's her immunity. She doesn't have blanket immunity to not be prosecuted, even though the dumbass thought so. Like, she has no idea what's going on. I'm pretty sure I have that. Do I have that in a short? She's just an idiot. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Hold on, is this it? We won't tell anybody tattletales. Yeah, she is an absolute mess. But yeah, Wendy thought she had full immunity, which is the funniest thing. And I think I may have just screen recorded that, so I don't think that's up yet. But here's
You've seen him at the coffee.
All right, hold on. Oh my gosh, what a mess she is. Oh, is this the one I wanted?
Yourself and spell your name.
My name is Wendy Adelson, Wendiadelson.
Ms. Adelson, where do you currently live?
I currently live in Miami Beach.
And are you here today pursuant to a state subpoena?
Yes, I am.
And do all state subpoenas confer immunity?
I don't know if all state subpoenas confer immunity, but this one does.
Okay, and do you believe that your subpoena is special or different from other state subpoenas?
I don't believe it's special or different, so I suppose they all carry immunity.
All right, and does the immunity conferred upon you by the subpoena mean that you can never be prosecuted associated with this case?
That's right.
That's what you think it means?
That's right.
That's what I think it means.
Okay. And do you think, isn't it true that it's use and derivative use immunity? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, but not complete immunity from prosecution. Do you agree with that?
So confused.
That's different than what you just asked before. So I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
All right, so what I'm trying to allow the jury to understand is what sort of immunity you have. What is your understanding of what it means for you to have immunity pursuant to the state subpoena?
So I have derivative and use immunity. And so in the future,
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and Iraq,
and such as,
and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future for our children.
Thank you very much.
a prosecutor couldn't use what I say here today against me.
Correct.
She finally got it.
But
Ding, ding,
it could
ding.
be prosecuted. Just nothing you said here today could be used against you in that prosecution. Do you agree with that?
I suppose so.
Okay.
She supposes so.
You're in the headlights. You don't know what to do you? What are you gonna do?
Run away, Wendy, run away. She is an absolute mess. How can you not know that? And I mean, literally, the clip that we watched about John Lauro, and they explained her immunity. He said it right next to her, and she was right there. If she wouldn't have been so spaced out, being all Stepford wifey and weird, maybe she would have heard it. And then after that, the judge literally says, I explained this to Wendy before she came on. So he already explained it to her. She knew what was going on. I can't either, Tracy. I can't even believe it. I can't even. Yeah, her shortcut is total nonsense. And we're talking about Jodi Arias in the chat. Wendy reminds me so much of Jodi Arias. The way that she refuses to answer questions drives me absolutely nuts. George is like, did you throw up at dinner? She's like, I vomited at supper. It's like, just answer the stupid question. Like, that makes you so unlikable, and that makes you just look so smarmy, and I don't understand what she's trying. I mean, I get it. She's trying to have all the control for herself, but it is a disgusting way to behave, and it's not coming across cute to the jury at all. At all. All right. So, let me see. Yeah, I plan on putting a couple of shorts up every day from my current videos. I know. I hate the way she looks on the stand. She's like total blow up doll up there. I mean, she's trying to look like alluring and innocent, but she just comes off like insane. I know. I used to get, I mean, when I was making that 7-part series on Wendy, that literally I was spending like 100 hours a week listening to this god-awful, heinous woman. I mean, that's why I have to inject so much humor in my videos, because it was the only way that I could get through it. Yeah, no, that's who she is. She's just a pain in the ass. She has to be a pain in the ass. She can't be anything but. All right. So we'll just end with
I don't know anything.
something funny because okay, so somebody asked me earlier whose accent I liked. So Katie had there was actually 3 lawyers sitting at Katie's table. There was Krista Cost, and her name fails me right now, but the woman that did the opening statement, and was saying they have Charlie's WhatsApp messages, that even the ones that he deleted. I love her accent. I love her accent. Threw up right on the table. Like, what in the world? Who in the hell does that? I can't even. Okay. So we will go ahead and play this just as a funny thing before we go. And then I need to go up. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to play this and I'll be right back.
I don't know anything about...
If you're not going to say all of that and finally give the truth, why don't you just admit to this jury that you're guilty? Why don't you just admit to this jury that you're guilty? Why don't you just admit to this jury that you're guilty? Why don't you just admit to this jury that you're guilty? Why don't you just admit to this jury that you're guilty?
Because I'm not guilty.
And breathe more. I got nothing further.
Redirect.
I don't know anything about...
If you're not going to say all of that and finally give the truth, why don't you just admit to this jury?
Sorry, I didn't turn this on. This is my little gerbil. This is the rogue mammal that I was talking about. She did really good. 2 hours playing with her brothers is pretty good. I know. Sorry, I got it. But I will go ahead and let everybody know when I am doing the next live. We'll probably go ahead and do one tomorrow. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Nobody has come out in the Adelson's defense at all. Nobody has come out and talked about them. It's insane. All right. Yeah, everybody likes to see your little tongue. Okay, guys. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming in and watching the live. If you got here late, this will be up for replay. And now I have a cat in here and everything. So I will go ahead and schedule when my next live is supposed to be. I don't think that they are live streaming the jury selection. But if they are, we'll tune into that. But I will probably go ahead and have another live around this time tomorrow if they're not streaming the jury selection, which usually Court TV is really good about putting their upcoming stuff on there. But yeah, that cracked me up when they're like, are we going to get also, seats available for Donna's family and friends to come sit there. It's like, who's coming? Harvey only, and none of her friends. Give me a break. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad everybody joined me today. If you want, you can go ahead and comment under this video what else you want to see. I need to find, geez Louise, what was it that I was supposed to find? I'm sorry, my memory fails me. There was one thing that I was trying to find. Somebody remind me what it was, and I'll have that stuff set and ready for the next live stream. But, oh yeah, I remember now. It was the, when she was talking about, oh yeah, Dan would have called me and let me know if the kids didn't show up to school, and turns out she had a missed call from Dan. So, I appreciate everybody being here. I am so excited to watch this trial. I'm so excited to hear what more Georgia has up her sleeve. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you later. Say bye.
Bye.